What's gonna fall?
The headphone
All right,
thing.
hold on.
Your mother on her face? What?
Look at that. That was barely
Hanging on.
Hanging by the wire.
Whoa, you're halfway there.
So, oh gosh,
Indeed.
I saw a Bon Jovi in concert once.
He came to town on the Slippery When Wet.
Really?
Yeah, tour.
They went everywhere on the Super Inlet.
I saw the Bad Medicine tour. It was actually, they put on a good show. It's fun. I mean,
That was the reason why they became one of the biggest bands in the world very quickly.
because they put on a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not necessarily because of the music.
Well, no, I mean, it has to be both. If they had a good album and
I
they...
thought it was Richie Sambora's guitar playing.
That's exactly
Why
what it
was that funny?
It's because his guitar playing is that good.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Walking My Wheels. Podcast talks about anything, has absolutely no structure. It's me rolling through life with some pretty awesome friends.
And a cat.
We're talking about Bon Jovi
And a cat.
and a cat, Bella.
And a kitty.
A kitty. Talking about concerts and stuff. Griz and I purchased tickets to Metallica.
Again.
Again.
Because Metallica.
Second leg of the U.S. tour.
We have to wait 11 months.
It's stupid. It's
So,
stupid.
2019.
I know.
Holy shit.
I know. I bought the tickets on pre-sale, and it says we will mail out the tickets no later than 10 days before the event. What? I'm going to forget about the show.
Holy shit.
Well, Derek will be, at that point, will be a married man.
Yeah.
And his wife is going to go with him. So I was on the outside looking in until I bought general admission floor tickets. So it's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude, you're going to just get there early. Get right up to the fence, man.
It's going to be just like that Dropkick Murphys show.
Totally. Yeah, I said that when you texted me. You said I got the... All right, so story about Dropkick Murphys. So I went with my friend Matt, another big concert goer. Not Matt sitting on the couch next to me.
Oh, hi, Matt.
Oh, hi, Matt.
Matt, another guy.
Oh, hi, Mark.
So
Tear me apart.
we went and saw Dropkick Murphys at this local venue. So it's one of those small places where if it sells a certain amount of tickets, they build an elevated stage for the handicrips. So we're sitting on a little seat, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, hey!" And I turn around, and there's Griz. Before Griz and I really started hanging out, I turned around and said, "Griz," and he's like, "Hey, what's going on, man?" I was like, "Holy shit, this guy is wasted." I was like, "Not much, man." He's like, "You have fun?" I'm like, "Yeah, you having fun?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get another beer. I'll see you later." And then he disappeared, and I didn't see him for the rest of the night.
Well, I was there with my buddy PJ and a bunch of guys that worked at Harley Davidson. So they were already just like, I was keeping up with them.
Yeah,
Motorcycle mechanics, they're going to party hardy.
Yeah,
So.
you let loose that night, man.
So, I went back and I was double fisting. Had two tall boys, PBR, killed those. I got lost in the pit.
Yeah.
I mean, I found myself like an hour later. It was great.
It's great when you have to find yourself later
Yes.
on. That's always the best.
Yeah, when you have an out of body experience at a concert,
Yeah, it was
pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was phenomenal though. Like Old Man Markley opened up for them,
Which was ridiculous.
Yes.
That ended, and Matt looked at me and said, "Yeah, we already got our money's worth right there."
Yeah.
That was just a fun show.
And then Dropkicks came on and they just laid it down.
Yeah.
Like they were fucking great.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
Old Man Markley. I listened to their music on Spotify. I was like, yeah, that's all right, yeah, whatever. But seeing them live was just a whole new experience.
Yeah.
It was just. It's weird. It's weird when you see a band live. You're like, wow, these guys are amazing. Let me go get their CD. And then you go listen to it, and you're like, oh, that's not fun.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of like
it's weird.
It's kind of like the reverse happened for Volbeat though, because like on the radio you're just like, these guys kind of suck, but they opened up for Metallica last July.
It was good. Yeah, it was a good set,
and they were phenomenal live.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, it's not the opposite. It's exactly the same thing. Old Man Markley didn't really care for their but live it was just ridiculous.
Yeah,
because they had so much fun up there.
But I guess Avenged Sevenfold was opposite though, because they sound good. Like on the radio, some of their stuff does, but live, it was just like mess.
Yeah.
God, I hate those guys.
It was kind of
They're the NSYNC of metal.
it was
It was horrible though. Like it really was.
They used to use studio musicians to lay down their guitar parts. That's why they couldn't play them live.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean,
Just saying.
it was muddy.
Muddy. That's the word,
their,
muddy.
Their sound guy was off, or they just weren't a good live band.
They make enough money that they don't have to have a bad sound guy, so they were just muddy. Just saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's the way it is. But
So.
But yeah, now I downloaded some Volbeat because of that show, and dig it. I don't like the radio stuff. They have some pretty good deep cuts of their albums that are pretty decent.
I don't know. Just Volbeat just sounds like you should be marching in place. That's
Every band that plays in Ford should be marching in place.
every band that's playing in 4, did you say?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
which
true.
is 90% of the bands.
Yeah. That's why I listen to
I
Tool.
agree.
The Foo Fighters is different. They play in a lot of different key, time signatures and stuff. Because
Did you get
Dave
tickets to their
Grohl
show?
was just no, I didn't.
I've got 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Me and Lauren and her friend Eva are going.
I've heard they put on a sick show.
Fucking A, they do. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
really need to find tickets.
It's weird because I'm not a giant Foo fan, but I feel like I need to see him in concert. Because I've tried so hard. It's just not my sound.
I heard
there's a few songs that are awesome.
I heard
The newer stuff, actually, what's interesting? There's a lot of
that new
there's
song's
2
awesome.
periods.
The Sky is.
This guy is a neighborhood.
Yeah, that's a freaking gorgeous song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. No, that whole new album's really good. Actually, what's interesting is they lost me for a while. After The Color and the Shape, there was a good amount of time and I started to get a little bit more ballady too. I didn't like it. I really didn't. And then when they put out Wasting Light and On, everything they've put out's been really good. I would say that Sonic Highways is probably the one that out of all the newer albums is not as good, just because every single song was based around a city, and it doesn't feel like a cohesive album because of that. But it's got a paired documentary.
Which I've seen. I think 6 of the episodes, and it just seems like a rushed.
Yeah, it's not. It's like
quickly.
they're rushing to write the songs because they're doing it while they're in the city and everything.
I mean, the
like
first
that.
album by Down was a rushed album, and that's fantastic.
Yeah,
that was done in 3 weeks.
That was done in 3 weeks. That was done really quickly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I didn't feel like that really didn't do it for me. But then, the new album, Concrete and Gold, is fucking great. And they also do a lot of, they are crowd pleasers. They play, the songs that they know are going to get the crowd going. And they also do a lot of covers, as well.
Yeah.
I heard with Dave Grohl, though, what you see is what you get. He's as cool on stage as he is off stage.
He's the guy you want to be friends with.
Yeah, I like the whole entire thing. He's he even said I've got a lot of social anxiety. So the way that he gets over that is that he just runs around backstage when he's on big tours and stuff, and just with a bottle of whiskey, throws the cap away and goes around doing shots with people. So
that's one way to get loose.
Okay, So
it's like any wedding reception that Griz has been to, except it's Fireball.
That's the truth.
Right.
He's already. I was like, yeah,
so
man.
bad.
I guess we're
Can't do it.
gonna have wine at the wedding. He goes, don't worry, I'll have my Fireball with me.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, seriously.
No. The reception area is kind of up in the air now. We're not sure if we're having the wedding there.
Oh,
I wanted to be there. I personally want to be there,
Yeah.
but we're looking at other options.
okay.
It's crazy. Let's not even get into that. Let's
Indeed.
I'm just gonna do a hard transition into our main topic of the day.
Waburgers.
Yeah. What?
Waburgers.
Yeah. We saw Star Wars. It's complete spoilers. Spoilers.
If you haven't seen it yet,
Yeah, because this came out 5 months ago.
yeah, it's been a
almost.
while. It's still in theaters. Go see it if you haven't.
Mid-December,
But-
so a month and a half.
Dude, it's March 1st, or it's first week of March,
2.5
second week of
months.
March.
Holy shit, it's March. Why did I
Yeah.
think it was February? Oh my God, my life is flying by my eyes. So,
Hold me, mama.
so we saw Star Wars. I've seen it twice. Griz has seen it.
Uno.
Once.
I've seen it twice.
And Bernstein has seen it twice. Now, with that said, who wants to go first? What do you think? What do you
You're
think?
the
guys?
one that has the biggest issues
We'll
with
get
it.
to that in a minute.
Wow. Okay. So clearly he's not going first.
I hated the gambling scene. I thought Finn's part in it was ridiculous and not needed. And I still don't understand why kill Snoke that easy. So
Yeah. Well,
go ahead, Matt.
Let's go a little bit deeper. That's kind of surfacey. Let's
that is surfacey. It is.
Yeah. Let's get into the crux of this conversation.
see.
Okay.
Okay. I'll just drop my basic opinion on it.
Yeah. Do
The
an
only-
overall.
My overall is I thought it was a fantastic movie. The only thing that I had a gripe with is I feel like the scene with Canto Bite was kind of pointless and dragged on just a little bit long. But other than that, I thought it was a great movie. There was a lot of things I know that we're going to wind up getting into in a moment here. That after seeing it the second time, like the first time I was like, okay, maybe I don't know. But then after the second time seeing it, okay, I got it. I could see what he was trying to do. Ryan Johnson. But other than that, yeah, that's the only thing I have a complaint about was that Canto Bite scene.
Well, it was just like there was so much. It sped through parts, and then parts just kind of drug on, like the whole. I mean, the first part of the movie with Luke, he was like reminded me of a crybaby. I needed more depth, more of what he was doing, more interaction with him and Rey. Actually,
being trained. I would have liked to see
having
her being
conversations. Have more training. And then there was parts that didn't even need to happen. I mean, it's funny and disgusting at the same time. But whatever the hell beast that was, that he just, he drank the milk and then, did that whole crazy thing and got that big ass fish.
Yeah.
Or
What is it? Siren or I know what the name is, but
caught the fish in the most difficult way ever of catching a fish.
Yeah.
How the hell do you get it
Indeed.
up? Yeah.
Just use your force and be like, oh, there's a.
Yep.
Here we go.
All right. So
Plot
It's
hole.
funny you say that. There's
What?
plot holes. Just
all right.
going
So
on.
here's what I thought.
So was a tire in that one.
I thought the movie was a bad movie with some really, really incredible, awesome moments. And I'm going like 40-60 on it. I think there was more of a bad movie than there were great moments. All right, so the Canto Bite. PETA wrote that scene when PETA wrote it, because that whole trip was like, it's not even worth it, and it's free the racehorses. It's rich people are bad because they bet on racehorses, and so they're just evil people. Margaret Cho, and she's like, no, it's not worth it. And then she sees the free horses. Now it's worth it. And nothing to the actress herself. She's been taking a lot of shit. The actress is awesome. I'm saying the character, I just didn't like. I didn't really care for the character all much. And just that whole scene. And you're in a space casino. And all the games that you got were created on Earth. They're all playing Earth games in a space casino. Come on. Show some originality. I found that very frustrating. And your main locksmith guy is like from the 20s. Hey, what do you know? With his little pencil.
Well, the theory behind that is that wasn't actually the guy that they were looking for. It was actually, Benicio del Toro's character.
Yeah.
That they found. But
which I didn't really like the way he played his character either.
yeah, but
he was like, it was like being played by Hannibal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was something creepy about him, and I kind of appreciated that in a weird way because he wasn't what you expected.
No. But still.
The whole entire Earth game thing, though, I mean, honestly, then you got a bitch and complain about the damn chessboard on Millennium Falcon.
No, it had holograms of creatures fighting each other.
So it had holographic chess pieces.
It wasn't chess pieces. It was
They're
creatures.
basic, but they're basically the same
completely
concept
different.
of game.
Completely different.
No, it isn't.
Completely
really.
different. I don't even know why you're talking right now. Seriously. It's not. It's the same thing. It wasn't checkers.
You know what?
It wasn't
would be
a bishop.
lot fucking cooler if it was a wizard's chest. Is all I'm gonna say. Shut the fuck up.
I'll agree with that.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
Regardless,
Let's just agree with it shouldn't have been what it was. Then they're playing.
That was just unneeded parts of that movie. I mean, the whole meat and the potatoes of it.
like it's like it's.
I didn't understand where because what I was expecting that there was going to be some more of a part that Finn and Rose would ultimately play.
For them to,
by doing
for
that.
them to epically fail like that, though, you typically don't see that.
But everybody kind of epically failed in that movie, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean,
The only one who actually succeeded in what he was trying to do was Luke.
yeah, but then I
Yeah.
didn't really care for that all that much either.
Well, I mean, everybody was like, "Well, why didn't he come there and fight?" And I was like,
Well, he did astro projection.
"Well, no, they even said they wanted
like
to actually
that.
see the fight." And people were like, "I don't get it. Why didn't he do that?" And I'm like, "Did you not notice in the beginning of the movie that the door to his fucking hut is the wing to his X-wing?
I
He can't
Yeah.
fly it. It's been underwater for years."
liked the
That
end
was,
scene.
that was
with-
a pretty cool scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the end, the projection. I thought that was badass. That gave me the chills when I was there. Like I said, the whole Canto scene, them going there, them coming back, and then he gets sold out. I thought, what's that noise? Oh, that was my refrigerator. Sorry.
You live here,
I
you tell me,
I
man.
know. So,
It's like, are they coming to get us?
yeah, right. What?
Indeed.
So
It's like Rainbow Six Siege.
I'm trying
coming
to
through the walls.
start in the beginning. So Luke is just like, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to help you. Luke, this Jedi Master, has a moment of weakness and thinks about killing
Kylo Ren.
Kylo, and
Because
that's
he
like,
saw how evil he was.
yeah. So that
Ben.
ends up being this weird.
Ben Solo.
But still, I don't think he would do that because I mean, he went through the same struggles.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't Luke, as a Jedi Master, be aware of that and try and help him? I just don't. I don't think the thought
Well-
of killing Ren should have even been an option.
Well, the whole entire thought, that was the whole entire point. Is
And
he
it was
had
a-
the thought, and it was a fleeting thought because then he had shame in it, and he wasn't going to do it. But at that point, he had woken up, and it was too late.
So it was a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, but ultimately, and
That's
also
how,
we're like,
that's how
I
wars
hate
get
this
started, as
broken-
misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I hate this broken. Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker was supposed to be, this like perfect, like untouchable character. I'm like, he wound up being very much like his masters. Obi-Wan Kenobi, after fighting Vader, and he ultimately, when fighting Anakin, and he turns into Vader, he goes into hiding.
Yeah.
He becomes a hermit. He doesn't deal with it the way he should be.
No, they
Yoda.
all escaped because they were being massacred.
Yeah, but they stayed in hiding. They all kind of like, they basically dealt with the, the failure of what happened and like kind of like in as recluses and kind of in shame for extended periods of time. So the whole entire argument there, like where people just like hate what Luke became, I'm like, Luke turned into Obi-Wan in a lot of ways.
To a certain degree, yes, because the Jedis that he was trying to train, that didn't work out for him. So he turned into a recluse. So I get that. But apparently he gained a sense of humor. I'm going to turn left a little bit. All the characters are funny now. Every character in the movie is funny. You don't have like that. Like Han Solo was kind of the funny one, or not Han Solo. Han Solo had his moments, but R2-D2 and C-3PO, that was the humor. But now everybody's funny. Everybody's got
That was
one-liners.
kind of like the carryover from the Force Awakens, where the droids were not the comic relief anymore.
Yeah.
There wasn't that whole entire. But also, you
Well,
guys
yeah,
see that a lot of
BB-8.
times there wasn't the.
BB-8 was great in
I
Force
think-
Awakens.
yeah,
he
like-
made
Right.
the movie.
like even like the thumbs up thing when he the lighter,
With the lighter.
or when the guy's and she's like, no, that one. He rolls over and looks at it. I think BB-8 was magnificent, but that was good humor. But it just seems like a lot of the jokes is more slapsticky. It's
Well, you also have to consider, and I think this is something that it's and I've had this conversation in length that
sorry to interrupt again, but when they're projecting against each other and he doesn't have a shirt on, she's like, "Gosh, will you put something on?" It's just, come on, that's just not necessary.
well, no, I think that was more about the tension. There was something more going on between them, but that's besides. That's what I think that's what it's about.
They're going to create the ultimate Jedi.
Right, basically. Yeah, that's where that was supposed to be going. The whole entire thought was that
Bow,
they
chicka, wow,
both
wow.
had this thing. They saw something in each other, and that's why she thought that she could turn him, and he thought that he could turn her because of this clear, attraction that's going on there. But even that, with the humor, it's like I understand where people get upset about, certain things, but it's Star Wars. Star Wars ultimately is supposed to be for all age groups. It's something that, because let's just face it, if we had a dark movie, like if we had the darker version of Star Wars that I know that the three of us probably would be cool with, like the Empire Strikes Back level of depth and darkness, we would be cool with it. But guess what? They wouldn't sell toys, and there wouldn't be a future generation.
It kind of came in the form of Rogue One.
It did kind of, we did get that in Rogue One, but that was a one-off movie.
Yeah, but
Rogue
one
One.
of the best movies that they've made from Star Wars.
Oh, absolutely. I actually think that it elevates, A New Hope, which for me, actually, A New Hope is kind of a weak movie in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it was just
Not-
original.
Not anymore now.
Not anymore. After Rogue One came out, now the two of them, and there's so much more depth. There's plot holes, but, it's better.
So let's talk about the Snoke scene and, Rey and Kylo taking out the Imperial Guard or whatever.
Okay, number one, Snoke. I don't know why he wasn't aware of the fact that a lightsaber is being twisted towards him and about to slice him in half.
Because he was doing it with his other hand,
I
too.
get that, but he's like the supreme leader. You gotta,
Yeah, but his cockiness was his downfall. As a matter of fact, that's the cockiness being a downfall. Well, hold on. Isn't that what happened with Palpatine?
Palpatine. It happened with Kylo, the end of this movie.
Right. Well, look at Palpatine.
Fire everything!
Why I'll ask you, why the fuck?
Did you think you hit him?
Here comes Angry Matt. Why the fuck would Palpatine, in his wisdom, if he's the one, because he revealed to Luke, he's the one that leaked the fucking, the Death Star plans to the, the Rebel Alliance that it'd come. Why did he leak fucking wrong plans? He told them how to blow it up.
You pitiful rebellion. No.
Explain that to me. He said that I'm the one that leaked the Death Star plans. Why? Fine. Even if he gave them the moon base, he didn't have to give them the exact route to the heart to the damn reactor to blow the whole fucking thing up. He didn't have to do that, but he chose to. That's just cockiness. And he died because of it. Just like Snoke did.
I don't know. I think he died because Darth Vader turned on him and fought against him.
It's also, he
picked him up and threw him.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the physical thing that actually killed him, but he
didn't expect that, though.
He also
but he
didn't
still walked
expect
up to
that
him and-
Luke could turn him. He thought, as far as he was concerned, he already had, he had Vader where he wanted him to be. He was infinitely dark. He was not going to turn.
All right. I think maybe I'll give you that one. Maybe.
Yeah, no, you gave me that one. If you
Snoke.
concede anything, because you are Derek fucking Howard, and when you get set on something, you are set on something.
I'm pretty good at admitting when I'm wrong.
That's hilarious.
That's the best joke of 2018 so far.
Holy shit. Well, we can just end the year now. We're just going to go into retirement till 2019.
And
Holy
you're
shit.
welcome.
There
See.
you go. Okay. Well,
Okay,
as I said, so
yeah,
all right,
I
so he
didn't-
dies. So all right,
Yeah,
so
Snoke dies, and then they team up to take out the Imperial Guard.
which was a dope ass scene.
holy shit, was that dope?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I have watched that on YouTube, people shaky cam footage, over and over, because the choreography in that
Is
shit
on point.
was intense.
Yeah.
And it's something I never noticed before, and I think that's something that I felt like was lost in the prequels and also the original trilogy. The lightsabers have never felt like a heavy, weighted object.
They haven't felt like a broadsword.
They haven't felt, and that's exactly what they are, ultimately. like watching some of like
I don't know. They are called lightsabers.
they all, but you know, like there was
off.
it was so like that scene is actually
You're
really
just
great
weak.
because of how visceral it is. There is a lot of like there's struggling, there's grunting, there's sweating. I mean, Daisy Ridley looked like crap after that shit. Her hair was all fucked up.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You know,
Do you honestly think there's a certain level of weight to it, like physical weight to it, or do you think it's?
I was actually watching The Force Awakens.
Do you think it's
cuts.
it's the Force that they're working with also? You know, the Force exhausting them.
Right. Well, I was having that conversation with Ramirez, actually. Like, think about this. I was like,
I mean, they do come across like they're like like full swings with two hands,
full swings. Like, there's got to be some heft to them, you know, even though.
some girth, if you will.
Indeed.
Thickness.
Indeed. All of a sudden, those little handguards.
Did someone say sword fight?
Absolutely.
Yay!
Don't cross streams. Don't cross streams.
Oh shit! Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Let's bring it in. Reel it in, guys. Reel
But
it
yeah,
in.
but like, you know, it's just felt like a much more like a good fight scene.
Yes.
You know, the stuff that was in the prequels was much more martial artsy in the way that it was very well like, you know, there was great choreography that went along with it.
Yes.
But this felt more like a fight scene, just like Rogue One felt like more like actual like battles, like actual war.
It felt more real. It felt less
did.
choreographed. Could you put it that way?
Yeah, it felt less like a dance and more like, you know,
fight.
a fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I thought that was incredible.
And it's not stormtroopers too they were fighting. I mean, they were fighting the baddest, you know, people
Baddest of the bad.
Yeah, that the Imperial
Baddest of
had.
the bad, yeah, and they had like, you know, like the armor that can deal with glances from lightsabers and shit.
Yeah.
You know,
That was the biggest thing I saw when my first reaction was I was like, dang, because you think like lightsaber is going to cut anything. Like Phantom Menace where Qui-Gon puts it in the door, you know.
he just like melts the door away.
Yeah,
Right.
but like they were struggling with those people, you know, with the guard there for a little bit.
Yeah,
So-
the only thing it didn't like, you know, really like it seemed to like be impervious to was like a direct piercing hit.
Yeah.
Or like a really hard cut. Like they actually had to put some force into it in order to actually fight them.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And the way that they broke it down, like all of a sudden it went into slow motion, like right in the beginning of it, while they were all like descending around. It was like, oh shit!
Yeah, they're
it's
like,
about
oh
to go
yeah,
down.
yeah. That gave you that feeling of this is about to be epic. Kind of like, sorry to bring this up, but when Yoda ended up fighting Palpatine, when the first time he opened up the lightsaber, you're just like, oh, this is gonna be badass. And then it ended up bouncing around like a ping pong ball.
Yeah, that kind of ruined it for me a little bit.
fucking
But you know
horrible.
what's funny is that I thought that that's what the beginning of the fight with Dooku
But it's that feeling.
was going to be, where like, you know, Dooku shoots the Force lightning, you know, at Yoda, and he just like grabs it and like absorbs it into his hand. He's like, a lot you still have to learn. I was just like, yeah, this is about to go down, and it really didn't.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but I was expecting it to be something like that. But no, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I mean the movie is not without its flaws. Ultimately,
I think there's more flaws than not.
I think the only flaw really for me was the Canto bite scene.
But it was half the movie. That was a flaw for me. Another flaw for me.
They could have cut it down, and it wouldn't have been as long of a movie. Though.
Well, the whole thing is let's slow this whole thing down, and no more. No, we can't jump to light speed because they can track us now. So
Well,
we just got to stay.
That's something new, and then like you never had a scenario where they were out of fuel before.
No, and you know it's interesting because the previous canon you never would run out of fuel. The reason why the Falcon was so fast and also so unreliable is because it was a little bit overfueled.
I'm just saying, like, you know, we've never had to deal with that
deal with.
situation of
fuel.
running out of fuel.
It was
People
never
got really
mentioned.
upset-
Right.
People got really upset with the tracking through light speed thing because you shouldn't be able to track through light speed because it's never been done
See
in
that
any movies.
that doesn't bother me because it's new technology. We're in the future. I get
And
that.
you know what's funny is
What
they actually
bothered me-
dropped on that. That was actually hinted at in Rogue One.
Yeah.
In Rogue One, when they
You're
were
right.
going through, like when they were on Scarif and they were going through all those files, that was one of the things that they mentioned.
Well,
was,
how do you think
hyperspace tracking?
No,
how do you think they at the beginning of A New Hope, they come out of light speed, because they jump into light speed from where Vader.
Because they knew what planet they were on.
What are you talking about?
Well, they didn't know where they were going.
Yeah, they didn't know where they were going, but they tracked him. I mean, A New Hope opens up with them coming out of light speed, or the Star Destroyers behind Leia's thing.
I'd have to revisit that.
Yeah, because basically what happens is when they release themselves from that Star Destroyer, they go off into distance and go off into light speed, and Vader's
standing there looking at him.
And then,
but A New Hope opens up.
It starts with them chasing him.
Yeah, so they had to chase them through light speed.
So it's been around for a while. So if they were able to do it then, which they clearly could, based on the canon that is now put in there, then why didn't they do it all those other times? How many times did we watch the Falcon jump off at light speed and they were never tracked?
Falcon could be different with a ship that small.
Maybe. That's a good point. That is a good point.
I don't know. That's
but it seemed like it was a
they
new thing because they were like, nobody's been ever able. You can't track people through hyperspace. How did they find?
Hold on a second. So when they got the plans. No, I think Darth Vader at the end of Rogue One went to the planet, and I don't think
at the end of Rogue One they were above Scarif. When they docked to them, they were all about to jump to to hyperspace, and
so Darth Vader ended up at Scarif.
They were at Vader was at Scarif. Scarif, his ship came in, and basically that's when they started fighting, and that's why. They just downloaded the plans. They were literally like trying to get it through the door.
Yeah, they ran it to that.
Yeah, and then they took off.
Leia's ship, and it released itself from the ship Vader was on, killing everybody.
Yep, and Leia took off.
It wasn't Vader's ship that it was released on. There was actually the medical ship.
Right. No, I'm just
it
saying
was on
Vader.
Radiss's ship.
I think
what they were.
Vader was on Radiss's ship, killing everybody.
I don't necessarily think that it was tracking them through light speed. I think that they just found them and told Darth Vader and Darth Vader. I don't think it was a tracking thing for the New Hope.
I don't know, but it's a question because if you think about it, that's what happened. They broke off and they were able to, they jumped, and all of a sudden he went from that ship. And then the next time we see them, they're on another star system. They're around another planet.
So I think they just got caught. I think they just got caught.
But the way it's filmed, it happens almost immediately. Like they're like in the middle of preparing for a boarding party already.
I think it jumped forward a bit. I don't think it was available then. But anyways,
it could have been only available to the Empire. You never know.
Here's what
it was Empire technology.
Yeah.
Here's what I was thinking, is that I just didn't like the fact that they couldn't jump into light speed, or why didn't Snoke's ship just jump into light speed 300 feet and then blow up the ship? It just seems like a simple
that
result.
Slow chase was just horrible.
Yeah, I didn't like that plot point.
And then why do you need
lazy.
a ship that big? The Dreadnought or whatever it was called. I mean, what
his ship was?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I mean, it's like
Big
10 times
thing.
bigger than the Super Star Destroyer, which was 10 times bigger than a regular Star Destroyer.
Just because it's cool and gigantic and massive.
It's pretty much it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's a whole it being ominous. Now, that being said, another thing that I thought about was, well, if Holdo knew that was an option to jump into light speed straight through like a capital ship like that, why, when they were losing the other ships and they were running out of fuel and they were evacuating to the main ship, why didn't they, like with the last bit of fuel that one of those ships had, why didn't they turn one of them around and do that? Why wasn't there a suicide mission earlier?
Because she wanted to sacrifice herself. That's easy. She was sacrificing herself for that.
Yeah.
She had to play the martyr because she was a real bitch to Poe the whole time.
Well, see, Poe was a little bastard in the movie.
Poe was a little bitch.
No,
in the movie.
Poe was a different character in the second movie than he was in the first movie. They wrote him different, like he was an immature, cocky pilot.
And he
was kind of a cocky pilot.
But he's got to be better than that. Like he totally missed his.
He's already a better and more responsible than they wrote him in the second movie. He's already learned those lessons, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, he was the best of the best of what the Resistance had, and then he was just some punk, cocky ass little.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
But how much of prior to The Force Awakens is, how many battles did they actually have? how many ops were they actually running against?
Plenty to be the
Force
best of the
Awakens.
best, because you saw how he flew in the Force Awakens.
Yeah, but there goes that whole entire thing. Is he also kind of like was it a Betty Sue? Is that the term that people were talking about with Rey? With the ability to use the Force. Is he just Force sensitive and his same kind of thing, going on there? Because there's shit that he was doing that should not physically be possible, even based within the Star Wars universe.
It was like they missed the character, and he was supposed to be like, he was acting like Finn. I mean, to me, Finn's a shallow character which didn't develop at all.
Correct.
Yeah, they didn't really develop him much in the movie.
No, and then they took Poe and they stepped him back, so Poe was like playing both characters.
Yeah, they've kept this doofy guy who doesn't really know anything, and just does weird facial expressions.
Well, here's the other thing, and I'll say why I don't think that there was much character development, because there wasn't really much time for development. If you think about the time difference between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, there's clearly has been enough time for them to carve in an ice cave and set up bases on Hoth and have probing beacons and monitors distance that they're they're going out and they're working them. They've had time to set up a base. There's been a little bit of time. If you really think about the time frame between The Force Awakens and this movie, it's a much shorter amount of time. I wouldn't expect Finn to, just like at the end of A New Hope, at that point, Han just came back and, ditched the bounty for, the money that he was going to get to pay off Jabba the Hutt. By the time we come back to him in Empire, he's a general. They've already been through multiple things. They've even hinted about
that, and that's fine. That's fine, but it's a short period of time. But there was still no growth in who he was as a person, as a character. Just because he became a general doesn't mean the character was written to be.
Well, no. Well, that's what Han Solo. No, Finn just woke up in the beginning of the movie.
You didn't get any
right, but still there was.
There's no more depth. And okay, let me get a little bit more of who you are as a person. Instead, you're still the same exact character you were from the first movie. You didn't see any growth in who he is.
Right. And then Phasma should have killed him.
Yeah,
she
Phasma
should have ran
died,
through him
way too quick.
So they made her a little bitch in the first one, Force Awakens, and then in this one, I mean, for them, the hype her up so much. I just think they missed her character too.
Well, she's a hype character anyway. You think look at Boba Fett,
Darth Maul.
Yeah.
all these hype characters that don't fucking
don't
do
really
anything.
want to do anything. Look, Boba Fett literally did nothing but get
walk around with his gun, and he
walked around with his gun. He nodded a couple of times, looking really badass, and and then he got his shit pushed in. He got his rocket booster set off. He flew into the side of a sail barge, and it got slowly digested. That's literally all he's done.
He got out of the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, he lived, and he was still a badass.
I just think
not by canon anymore, technically.
Phasma just would never showed any strength whatsoever. She looked weak to me. She had a strong voice and a strong presence, but she was not a strong.
Oh no,
that's what bothered me.
The only thing that was cool about her was her armor, but I also thought that about about her in the first movie, and I didn't have any complaints about it.
The armor she wears in Game of Thrones is pretty cool too.
Yeah. There you go. They're getting a Star Wars trilogy.
They need one.
Yeah, Game of Thrones creators, the guys who did actually the show. They're getting their own trilogy. But my whole entire thing also with Finn,
hopefully they'll do Old Republic stuff, way back. That would be pretty fucking awesome.
That would be fantastic.
That would.
Yeah.
But I'll go back on Finn really quick. Just did he have time for character development? Because what character was he? He was, in the first movie they've established he was taken as a kid, from a family that he'll never know, and he was basically trained to kill. All he knows is killing people in white uniforms. He hasn't been out of that very long.
No, but he doesn't like killing, and he's goofy.
Right. That's all he is so
but you
far.
Can see, well, no, you had an opportunity here to show a little bit more depth in the character, grow the character.
Right.
Nothing from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, there was no growth in who Finn is.
That was
indeed. But do you think it's after you?
The growth that he showed from acknowledging what they were doing on The Force Awakens was wrong. You know, when he gets in there, he takes his helmet off and he's like freaking out because the weight of everything is on his.
That's growth. That's character.
Is on that.
You feel
for him to go to that, and him and Poe getting a bromance going.
Yep.
And it was just like, and this movie was just like they were both like little bitches.
They were buddy cops.
So it was just, it's like, yeah, it went in the future, but they were like teenagers instead of young men. You know, like, I just had an issue with how both of those characters are written. And and Snoke dying so easy, and Phasma going away
so easy.
Yeah,
you know what I was also thought is
and
that
then Kylo still being a little bitch,
and we haven't even touched Princess Leia playing Superman.
Right, we haven't touched
this.
that.
This movie is so much. I mean, there's so much depth in this movie.
There is.
I mean, it's so.
What did you just say?
There's so much depth in this movie that it's kind of hard. There's so much stuff in it that.
I think
that's why
missed depth. Is
no, because I'll redo this.
Disagree.
I think that The Force Awakens should just have been a Star Wars story. This should have been Episode 7, not Episode 8. And half of this movie should have been Episode 7.
You know,
because Force Awakens should be Force Awakens a Star Wars story, reintroducing everybody to these characters because they're all new characters, pulling everybody back in. There's so much stuff left to be done in one movie with all these characters.
See, here's the thing.
That's the scary part.
Now, here's the way I tried to,
and that's why I say some stuff rushed, and then some stuff just like went really, really slow in this movie.
And the stuff that went slow could have been rushed, and you could have taken the Canto Bite scene out and just done something incredible.
Well, right. So
here's my thing.
I'm looking forward to, but I'm also terrified of the end movie because this should have been Episode 7.
Abrams has it.
Well, here's the thing.
Faith in Abrams.
I'll have faith in Abrams. But here's the thing. If you really think about it, if you took this movie, I feel like this movie suffered from the same kind of thing that the Matrix trilogy did. Where...
Impotence?
Indeed.
Mr.
Well, no, yeah.
Anderson.
Well, you know why it was impotence, though? Is because the way that was written was... Reloaded, and then what was the last one? It was so bad I forgot the
Revelation
name.
or
Revolution. Those were one movie. If you watch those back to back,
yeah,
that's the meat and bones, and then the fight scene at the end, the epic long war fight scene at the end of it. They're one film. They had to split it because of time frame. The way that The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi really interact because of the time frame. I feel like they should have been one film, and some of the fat should have been trimmed off of it. Actually, I think that if somebody goes back later and trims off the fat, like with things with like Canto Bite, and like really kind of cuts out some of the bullshit there.
All of Canto Bite, take all
most
of it out.
No, honestly, most of it, absolutely. It's a long chunk of the film, and it has nothing, important to offer.
Well, if you because if you think about The Force Awakens, it's pretty much a solo family movie. It introduces Rey.
Yeah,
but it's Han Solo, Ben Solo, Princess Leia's in it. Luke's not in it. You have Chewie. It really
it could have been
a Star Wars story.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It could have been an individual movie. But my whole entire thing is that where it cuts off now, where this movie cuts off, and the whole entire purpose I thought of the movie was to, and it was the whole entire thing that Kylo said. He said, you have to destroy the past, to become what you need to become. That's kind of what this film did. It kind of destroyed all of those original Star Wars tropes, and it leaves an open end where we're actually at a point now where this is nice, because this actually gave J.J. Abrams a blank canvas, because literally you don't really know what's going on with the First Order other than that Kylo Ren took over it, and he's kind of in a shaky, fucked up... really emotionally raw place. Because did you notice how erratic he was after Rey turned on him? He was so erratic and just angry, and he was not functioning like the badass that we saw in the beginning of
He's not in control of his anger.
He's not in control of his anger. He just killed his master, which while he fucking hated him and he needed to die.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the big bad is Kylo. It has nothing to do with Snoke. The big bad is Kylo. That's the whole entire point, is they killed him because he's not important to the story.
Who's in charge now?
Kylo. And I think that
That's it.
see, and it's kind of like the Two Towers for me. Like, I'm going to relate this back to the Lord of the Rings.
That's fine.
I didn't appreciate Two Towers until I saw Return of the King.
There you go.
So until we see the resolution of this, we may not understand how epic Last Jedi
somebody else
was.
last week said the same thing to me, and yeah,
Because I didn't like Two Towers. I didn't like the introducing of the new people, like the Rohan, the Riders of Rohan, King of Rohan.
Yeah.
I didn't like the tree beard thing.
I like the beards. The roots run deep. I
Right,
thought
but
that
still,
was
I
cool when they were
didn't-
walking. and
I
all.
didn't appreciate it.
You don't really
And
appreciate it.
then I watched Return of the King, and then I watched it again, and I was like a light shining down from heaven, saying, "This movie is fucking awesome," and I totally get everything. I have to see the entire thing for me to get that one little
The
thing.
Two Towers as a book also is very weird because, and that's also one of those things is because there's so much time where it's like, well, what the fuck is going on with Frodo?
Yeah.
There's all this stuff that's going on, and then all of a sudden you get back to it, and now it all kind of comes together, and that's where the Return of the King, I was like, holy shit. And
Yeah.
that's what this, see, we have it open-ended, Kylo Ren has assumed, control of the First Order. We do not know what the hell's going on with him because of where he was. He was probably, you think about it, everybody he has ever trusted, and this was like his last, his most recent, thing of trust was trying to trust Rey. She would turn. All of a sudden, they try to kill each other. She's trying to kill him at that point, and
Yeah.
they're Force equals because when they're both,
trying
it's
to get the
literally
lightsaber.
split in half.
Yeah.
And I really do think that
Which was pure
there's-
symbolism right there.
I
Absolutely.
think there's still something with her parents. I think
he was probably lying.
Yeah,
I think he was lying.
I know
I think
that.
there was something about her parents. We haven't even talked about Yoda showing up and saving the middle part of the movie because I thought he was awesome.
Very important. He showed up and saved the
Also-
movie.
I think he saved Luke, and Princess Leia still has to die. We know that's inevitable.
Yeah.
Luke's going to come back in the next one. Is Yoda going to come back in the next one? I mean, there's still so many unanswered
What's
questions.
a really interesting thing that, and a lot of people didn't like. I only picked it up really well the second time, was where the burden of a master is that the student will become better than them. Basically, he basically nodded and said Luke became a greater Jedi than he was, because ultimately that was his master. And he did that force projection shit, which, by the way, can we talk about the nuance of that? If you really think about that.
I had no issues or problem with force projection.
Well, no, absolutely.
I thought it was
I thought it was
badass.
great.
I thought it was badass. A lot of people bitched about it, and I read about it. I was like, wait a second. This
Well,
is-
here's the thing,
and
there
the
was,
only
really
person
good
that he
reasons.
touched was Leia, right?
I don't even know if they touched.
I
them.
thought they touched.
No, they touched, and he put the dice in her hand.
Yeah.
Didn't the dice?
She literally
disappear?
had a physical. Well, that's the interesting thing. She knew it wasn't him. She knew it wasn't him because she left the dice behind.
And did they disappear?
They disappeared afterwards after he died because he ended the projection. Well, right before he died, he ended the projection.
Yeah.
That was so the whole entire thing,
I got
mind you.
chill bumps thinking
Yeah.
about how
So
fucking
think
awesome
how fucking
that was,
awesome
though.
that is. First off, when he projected himself as a younger version of himself. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't him because look, his fucking beard. Did he just get a touch of gray, like just for men and
Like he
shit?
trimmed up for war.
He trimmed up for war, and he's like
Yeah.
his beard isn't fully gray. It's like now black, and he looks younger.
They sell.
And,
They sell.
Wasn't he
just-
wearing his Return of the Jedi black outfit?
He
Too?
was wearing his Return Jedi type black outfit,
They sell just for
and he
men
was
in
holding
space
on,
too.
and also he was holding on to Anakin's lightsaber hilt. See, technically, when that flash happened, that's a plot hole. Because how did he know that, that was the whole thing? How would he have it? When the flash happened, the reason why it would work on Kylo and he wasn't like, oh, this is just a force projection is because when the flash happened, they both got knocked out. He didn't know what actually knocked him out. He didn't know that the lightsaber was destroyed. He just knew he was alive. The lightsaber was gone, and Rey was gone. So he comes out there dressed in black, carrying the lightsaber that he's so adamantly said to
They threw
to
over his
Finn.
shoulder.
Yeah, and it said that lightsaber, belongs to me. And when, during the fight, in End of Force Awakens, and he literally, his whole purpose of that is to piss off Kylo Ren. And it worked. It was just literally to stall them. It was genius. And while he's doing that whole force projection, those dice are still in Leia's hand. Inside.
Yeah.
Projecting two things simultaneously at a level of accuracy enough that people wouldn't realize that they're fake. And she knew because she knew it wasn't her brother.
Yeah.
she do that who wasn't right there. You know, they're force sensitive. They can sense each other. So she knew it wasn't really him, and she leaves the dice when they leave. So, but holy shit,
Are you okay?
that's epic.
Are you okay with him dying at the end?
He technically didn't die.
You know what I mean?
If you strike me
Physically.
down, it'll become more powerful than you
Yeah,
can ever
physically
imagine.
dying.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I think they did.
I think
the
it had
right
to
way.
do because I think that he. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about Super Leia?
Absolutely. That was fucking weird. I'll admit that was weird.
It was weird. I think it was.
I was
a-
like, oh,
I
you
think
have
it was
a-
a. I
with
think
all-
it was reactionary because I think she was dead. Like
With all
That
due
was-
respect to Carrie Fisher, you had an opportunity to kill the character off,
and you.
and you didn't take it.
Yeah.
I
They
kinda,
probably had a lot of other things that would have had to reshoot and like would have changed it.
no,
they-
just don't putting my finger out and flying back. She's
I
in
thought
space.
the Mary Poppins, like, you know, the extending the umbrella with the finger out.
Have you
was a little
seen?
bit
Have
weird.
you seen like the little videos where they
I do admit.
they put a little cape on her and she's like flying through stuff?
Oh,
And
absolutely. You
Or,
know what
like,
I also
knocking
thought, you know,
wrestlers
kinda
down
pissed me
and
off
stuff.
Is how they killed Akbar right there too, and nobody talks about that. And it was like such a
Yeah.
undignified, like instantaneous death.
yeah.
But, you know, there's a lot of things, and there was like, okay, I get the plot holes, but I'm going to just throw this out there because I've been wanting to talk about this because it's one of the biggest plot holes in Star Wars history. What the fuck were they thinking they were going to do when they were going to try and rescue Han Solo in the beginning of The Return of the Jedi? It's really a clusterfuck. It's been going around on the internet for a while now. So what was the plan? You got Lando Calrissian, like, you know, as like a skiff, like, you know, pilot or something like that, or, you know, just the bounty hunter hanging around. You've got
Leia was,
comes in dressed as, you know, a bounty hunter,
yeah.
you know, and surrenders Chewie.
Yoda.
So what was the plan? What was the plan here? What did they think was going to go down? They would have been.
They
able
thought
to,
they were going to sneak him out in the middle of the night because she thought him out. Princess Leia thought him out, and they thought they were just going
But
to sneak
Luke
out.
was part of the plan apparently because
They knew they were going to get caught, so they had all these moving parts that had to be there because one plan wouldn't work. So they had to have like 16 different plans with the Jedi as the ace in the hole to
They-
actually.
They had the Force on their side, so they could
Yeah.
do anything.
So when
you're
Leia
saying-
didn't report back, Luke was like, "Okay,"
Um,
because you know, like
should I astral project myself or go in person?
Well, hold on. Well, that doesn't make sense to me because what would be the point of, you know, because the gift thing, here's a gift, these two droids, you know, and the lightsabers in R2-D2 the entire time. Like, that's a pretty big gamble because that's his weapon. What would he do if the lightsaber was destroyed in some way beforehand, you know, just magically? And also, that was another thing. Why did
dude,
it
he
have to be
killed
launched?
the damn.
No, that's not
he
a plot
killed-
hole. That's not a plot hole. It all worked.
Dude, he killed the Rancor with a door. Come on.
Yeah.
With a door. Well, indeed, he killed the Rancor with a door. Now, here's another interesting thing. Why does Luke suddenly sometimes forget to use the Force? Why do you need to take that skull to fucking hit that button? He could have just pressed the button with the Force.
Will you stop?
I'm
Yeah.
not going to. I'm just saying. It's
No,
not all
you're,
perfect.
You're getting nitpicky about
it's not all
Yeah,
perfect.
little
It's not all
things.
perfect.
Dude, since when has a human or a story been perfect?
Never has, and that's why I don't
Okay.
think The Last Jedi is a bad movie.
No. That is a horrible
Go
argument.
fuck yourself. That's the whole point of this.
No.
No,
I will still give it 2 thumbs up. I have issues with it, but overall,
I
I
have
will
issues
still
with it
give
too.
it.
I'm
I
not
know.
saying it's
I saw it
perfect.
twice. I would see it in the theater again. I would. Just
I don't want to see it in theater again because
I want to see it IMAX. Just because of the scene at the end with the
We missed it. It was at this
It's
IMAX.
still at the IMAX. It's through April.
downtown.
Oh, okay. Let's make it happen.
Not
Yeah,
through April.
yeah. Let's make that happen.
Do I really want to see The Last Jedi with you?
One last
You
time.
fucking
One last time. No, I might like it a little bit better. No, I'm not really whiny. It's just it was fresh. I said it so whiny. I just said that so whiny tonight. I'm not that whiny. No,
How about you just say, I'm going to sit on my thumbs until I watch the episode 9, and then I'll tell you if I like it or not.
listen.
It's like,
It
it's
just
a saga. It's not resolved.
doesn't matter. You need to be able to enjoy the mid parts. It's unresolved. That's fine.
Sorry.
But I don't know. You just don't know what they're gonna pull out next. And
Indeed.
I don't like the way the humor's going.
What fun would it be if you knew?
I'm starting to not like the characters, and that's what makes me nervous. I don't like Benicio del Toro's character.
We don't know if he'll turn into anything much, though.
Yeah, I don't like the Margaret Cho character. I forget her name, both of them. Rose. I don't like the Rose character. I'm starting to not to like Finn.
I thought that it would have been better if they killed Finn and let him fly into the damn Death Star.
I'm okay with that.
That would have been cooler.
Poe, yeah, because he's just having no effect. He was so very important in the first movie, and it's just nothing in the second. Poe, they've turned into this little punk
pilot.
Yeah, because
you thought that Finn was going to be the one that was going to be force sensitive.
Poe at the end of the movie is like, okay, I learned my lesson. But
that's the whole entire point.
What bothered me? What bothered me is the lessons were so very blunt and like spelled out for you, rather than
it's a fucking movie that's designed to also be good for kids.
No, come on now.
Yeah, no, not come on now. If a kid didn't understand it, they'd be like, huh?
Dude, there's tons of symbolism in all these movies that kids don't understand, but give kids more credit to understand it.
The biggest lesson is you always want to have the higher ground.
It doesn't need to be spelled out as strong as it's spelled out. That's my problem. The spelling out, like the Free the Horses.
Well,
that's spelled out.
Did you enjoy Fight Club?
What's rule number one about Fight Club?
Well, fuck all that.
No. What's rule number one?
Do not talk about Fight Club.
What's change
rule number
subject.
2? So we not talk about Fight Club. Okay, moving on to rule number 3. No, honestly, Fight Club was a lot like that. Fight Club was a deep movie that tried to be really deep, but spelled everything out for you too.
What?
But it was an enjoyable movie.
I don't.
I'm
not breaking rule 1.
I don't understand what that. What do you mean? It was. That makes no sense to me.
The concepts that were being put forth through Fight Club.
Yeah, keep talking.
Always, literally, then described to you verbally by Tyler Durden, whether you're saying Edward Norton or you're saying Brad Pitt.
Yeah, but you realize that at the end, not during the movie.
Well, even like the concepts. No. The reveal.
It's not
the
working.
reveal you don't realize till the end.
I don't.
I get that. And there's sometimes where it'll cross the movie where it seems a little weird, like the way that interacting, especially with Helena Bonham Carter's.
This is a shitty reference. I want to cut you off in the middle of this.
Absolutely. Really? Is it a shitty reference?
I don't really care for it. I'm not getting it.
Fuck. You let me finish.
All right, let me finish.
No, then you cut me off. Fuck you.
Good, it worked.
Great.
I just think I just don't understand where the reference is being pulled from. How it's all.
I'm just saying that you do not have the Star Wars does not have to have everything thinly veiled. A lot of it is skin deep, and that's what it is. Like a lot of the tropes that were used in Last Jedi, they are skin deep, and it's also so it's easier for audiences to understand because I want a heady Star Wars movie, but not everybody necessarily wants that.
I disagree with that. I think everybody wants a heavy Star Wars movie.
I was saying heady, H-E-A-D-Y.
That's what I said.
No. Oh, my God. Never mind. I'm not going to get it through to you, but I'm saying is that this is a saga. We're in the middle. There's still plenty of places it can go, and ultimately, we're going to judge it. Because, look, we judge the prequels as a whole. We judge the originals as a whole. We will judge these as a whole.
There's got to be a resolution, so you got to say bye to characters. You have to move on from them. That's the unfortunate
I'm okay
part.
with that. I'm okay. I wanted to say goodbye to one of them. They are still there.
Well, this is not Star Wars according to Derek.
Okay, that's fine.
That's right. Just like it wasn't Fantastic Beasts, according to Derek.
Yeah.
Well, I totally recantoed my
Recanto
bited my statement with Fantastic Beasts. I just think there could have been. I think you got to give your viewers a little bit more credit. Don't give them fluff, and the whole Canto bite. Not just that scene, the whole trip there, the interaction between Finn
Ewoks
and
only
Rose.
there because they didn't have enough material to make.
The porg. I like porgs more than the Ewoks, though. I know that much.
Porgs are fantastic.
That was funny. Like, and Chewie has had no relevance whatsoever in the last 2 movies.
No, he's just existing.
Yeah,
he should have eaten. He should have looked at the pork and ate that fucker anyways.
Should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Then Peter would have had to say something about that, too.
He loved the porgs enough.
I know.
That
Well,
he
they
brought
already.
them on him
No,
all the
actually,
time.
they did have that conversation. PETA, they're like, well, what do you want to save, the horses or the porgs? And they're like, both. Thanks, PETA. Thanks for ruining my movie. Now Chewie's a vegetarian.
But did we ever really confirm that he was a carnivore?
Have you seen his teeth? He's half dog. Of course he's a carnivore.
Half dog. He's half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend. I'm a mog.
Okay, on that note, we're getting the hell out of here. We've been talking for an hour. Shit. All right, gentlemen.
There's a lot to talk about.
I know
in this
there's
movie.
just still more. Do you want to keep it going, or?
No.
All right, yeah, let's wrap this up.
I'm done with you.
Yeah. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. As far as the movie goes, Last Jedi, meh.
For you.
I would watch it again, for me.
Yeah.
As far as Griz goes, it was a good movie with some meh moments.
Yeah.
As far as Matt goes, he's just giving it a blowjob.
No, I already said it has its faults. But
Yeah.
you didn't listen to me.
Yeah.
You just heard
Yeah.
one.
Thank you for recapping
cool.
for me. I appreciate that. I didn't have the capacity to
Yeah, I
say
love it
those
when you
words.
speak for him, by the way. That's my favorite.
Well, apparently you don't know how to text or speak for yourself, so I have to fill in the voids.
Hashtag words.
Hashtag
You
words.
couldn't fill in the
Hashtag Death Star Strong for all the Imperial
Death Star
troops that
strong.
they lost
Absolutely.
There we
on
go.
the first two
May the
Death
4th
Stars.
is a freaking rebel holiday. Well, I got to go to work.
Rebel scum.
Lovely. All right, gentlemen. Anything you'd like to say before we wrap it up?
Hashtag Death Star Strong.
Hashtag Imperial Buckethead.
Hashtag be love. Peace out. And remember, everybody, even a speed bump can be a jump into light speed.
That could be tracked by the First Order.
Thank you for supporting Walking in My Wheels. You can listen to us on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. If you have something to say, email us at walkinginmywheels@gmail.com. Keep being awesome people and hashtag be love.